Hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com where music comes to life. My guest today is probably best known as the amazing frontwoman from Femme Fatale, her time as lead singer for Vixen, and a ton of other projects. 2025 is looking to be a packed year for her, and she's here to give us all a little preview of it. Please welcome the one and only Lorraine Lewis. Welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you for the massive introduction. It's so appreciated, Jeff. It's good to see you again. It's been
Yeah,
a minute. I know that we've interviewed before, and you are always fun. So, hi.
awesome.
I'm
It's a pleasure to have you. So
I'm in my bad
I
era. I
like it.
this is Yeah, I'm all about my bad era right now. So, ask me anything.
We'll get to that. But let's start with the music first. Now, you have a lot of stuff going on, but the big news in a couple of months, you're going to have some music out with newly minted Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Lou Gramm. So, talk a little bit about how you guys hooked up and what we could expect.
Well, I think it's just been an amazing journey to get to know Lou. He's so fabulous. He's an icon. His voice is amazing. It all came about because of Instagram, quite honestly. And I basically every Sunday I do a live Q&A. People always ask the question, who would you want to sing with? Who would you want to work with? And my answer has always been the same. It's always been number one is Lou Gramm.
Mhm.
Number two is Paul Rogers from Bad Company. And number three is David Lee Roth. That's always been my top three. And I've stuck with that for the past couple of years. Um, Big Foreigner fan, big Lou
Yep.
Gramm fan. And I got contacted because of those Sunday Q&As. I got contacted by his page and they asked what song I would want to do with Lou if we got a chance to work together. And that just started the conversation. That opened everything up. They wanted my phone number and said, can you be available Friday to have a phone call at 1 p.m.? I said yes, halfway thinking it was nonsense. You never know on the internet. But sure enough, at 1 o'clock on a Friday, he called me and it was the voice of Lou. And I said, hello, Mr. Graham, it's a pleasure and honor to meet you. And he said, call me Lou. So that started the conversation. And then we just started figuring out what songs we wanted to work on. The idea really has been to do three. So I actually just talked with him yesterday. He called me. And so I think that there are going to be some changes as far as the timing. Originally, I was thinking we were going to potentially release something in June. I don't think it's going to happen in June. I think that, things have been pushed
Yeah.
and rescheduled. And now I think that he's back on tour. I think he's
Yeah.
doing
Do
some
some
things.
shows with
Um,
foreigners. Yeah.
exactly. So that's something new that wasn't in play last year. So look, I am just whatever Lou wants to do is what I will do because he's the master for sure. But I had a great time working with him. Amazing voice, got chills working with him, and to have him compliment me on my voice was a dream come true. So yeah, pretty excited about that. Working with him
Can't
in general, is amazing.
can't wait. And now switching gears to Femme Fatale, when we last saw that band, you had an all-female lineup of members of the Iron Maidens. Now you're going to be resurrecting that moniker. What's the new band going to kind of look and sound like?
Well, it's all guys for one thing. I've had a wonderful time being with the ladies of rock and roll. Do not get me wrong. I've had a major blast. But Femme Fatale originally was myself and four rockin' guys, and we're getting back to the roots of that. I think that my goal is to look. We can't go back to the 80s. I don't want to do that, but I do want to be the front person, the leader of the pack that has these great rocking guys in back of me. And so we're getting back to that look, getting back to that sound. Um, I'm excited to play with guys again, quite honestly. I've been on stage the last couple of weeks at the Ultimate Jam Night at the Whiskey, and I got to perform with a great rockin' band with Sean McNabb on bass. And I mean, just a plethora of just total rock stars backing me up. And there's just a difference in energy, I mean, it's one thing to be with badass babes, a whole nother ball game to be with rock star dudes. I mean, it's just there's a power that comes with that. And I love it. They're super confident, they're great players, and the sound is great. We have a new single that's ready to drop. I actually just sent it to a label this morning. I got to be all quiet about all of that stuff. But we're in talks with some labels about Femme Fatale. And so in the meantime, I do have a band together. Right now, my rhythm section is Matt Starr on drums,
Mhm.
Sean McNabb on bass, and Joel Holstra is guitarist. That is he's my yes,
That's
he's
amazing.
Joel is amazing. So actually, Joel, I have a track that is going to get mixed and mastered probably in the next week with myself and Leather Leone
Yep.
from Chastain. And we did a duet together, a rockin' duet, our voices together. And Joel just laid guitar on that on Tuesday. So I just heard what he did last night around midnight. The tracks came in, and I'm like, oh, damn. I mean, what an amazing guitar player, what an amazing talent. He's been working with Cher. I mean, he does so many different things. I know he's working with Mike Klink. I read something about that. Yeah, he's very, very, very busy, and I am lucky and honored to get him when I can get him. So that's my lineup. Will it change from time to time due to people having commitments? So look, if Cher needs Joel to be on stage with her, I will relinquish to Cher because Cher is the queen. As a matter of fact, Cher has been very, very monumental in my personal growth
Yeah.
um, as of late, over the last, year, I would say, looking at Cher as a role model of sorts, because she's such a fierce, open book badass. And I've gotten a lot of, I don't know her personally, but I have definitely gotten some high fives, so to speak, of wanting to do certain things with my life and just looking at hers and she's just done things the way that she's wanted to. And so I've loved that about her. So yes, if Joel needs to be with Cher, totally understandable. So I have other players lined up that would fill in for that. But that's the lineup right now. Yeah, I'm excited. Woo!
Fantastic lineup. All great guys. I know all of them. Good people as well as great musicians.
Yeah, they're really great. And just like I said before, power, the power. And when you have that kind of power behind you, for me, it just elevates me to another level. It's like, oh, you did that. Well, let me go here. And that's actually what it was like working with Lou. His placement and choice of notes on the song were not what I would have done. And it opened me up to so much just ideas of, oh, wow, how did he do that? Like the way he phrases and his choice of when and notes and when to get a little grit in there is just magical. And to be in the room with him and witness that is, I mean, I'm so grateful. Like that's fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Now, speaking of the Ultimate Jam stuff, just I believe last night you were on stage at the Whiskey for the Jack Russell tribute.
Yes,
What
yes.
was the vibe like for that? What did you perform?
Oh, so I performed two songs. It's just amazing to be in California and have these opportunities and that, people, the Sunset Strip. I mean, that was my day back on the Sunset Strip with all the flyers and all the stories that you've heard and Poison taking over the Sunset Strip. I mean, I was there. So it's really great to be able to play at the Whiskey. I actually ran into Chuck Wright at NAMM, and that's how the door opened up for the Ultimate Jam night because I hadn't seen him in years. He's been wanting me to play the Ultimate Jam for quite a few years. I did it once back when I had the all-female lineup, and I hadn't been back. And so he said, "Are you too busy to do this? Because I would love to have you." And I was like, I'll do it. So that opened the door for that. And then I got a call from the organizers of the Jack Russell Memorial, and they asked me if I would do a couple of songs, and I was just so touched with that. Jack was great. Like every time I would see Jack, from traveling and being on the road, being at the same airports, always a gentleman, always sweet. He had a lot to carry through his life. And I think that he did it with grace and with style. And I know that he had some challenges health wise. But whenever you saw him on stage, and everyone would attest to this, he brought it, always brought it. He might be walking up to the microphone a little hunched over, but once he opened his mouth, it was
Yeah, that
spot on.
voice never left. Yeah.
Never left him. And so I was really honored to be able to be a part of it. So I did the Angel song
Mhm.
and I did Call It Rock and Roll.
Oh, nice.
And the crowd was great. The vibe was great. There was a lot of love in the room. Just everybody coming together to
Mhm.
support this amazing talent. And, old faces, new
Mhm.
faces. Sunset Strip is always the Sunset Strip. You get people there that were there 35 years ago, walking in the doors, and it's very, very cool for everybody to come together. It was a great event. I didn't know that they did a live stream of it.
Mhm.
I really didn't know, and somebody sent it to me this morning.
Mhm.
And then we all got up and did, oh gosh, what's the song, the great white song that everybody sings? Oh, Once Bitten,
Let's get
Twice Shy.
some fun.
We all got up on stage together and we all supported each other and sang together. It was very, very cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. And now, we mentioned your time in Vixen. I had the pleasure of seeing you perform with them quite a few times over the years. I loved the Red single. And I was actually in the pit photographing that last show you did with them at Mohegan Sun.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
yep. I think you actually pointed down one time, got a great shot of you.
Yeah, that was a great show. That was a great night. That's a beautiful venue. We had a blast that night. It was great to be able to perform the song Red, which we hadn't done that many times. And so that felt really great and just had a blast. I miss the girls. I think that they're great. I enjoyed my time with them for sure. Um, did it turn out the way that I thought it was going to turn out? No, but this gives me a chance to really be myself and do my own thing. And I'm really grateful. It's like I'm in like my third act. I'm like, and it feels really good and it feels really right. Vixen has its own legacy and I have my own. So it's really great to be able to go back to my roots and really do what I love. And I had such a great time touring with them and traveling, and I wish them well for sure.
Definitely. And of course, the big announcement this year was your foray into OnlyFans. And you've talked a lot about why and how it makes sense and that. But now that it's been up and running, what's the reaction been that you've received doing it?
I I would say 98% positive. I don't know that the 98% would publicly verbalize that because OnlyFans has it's such a taboo to so many people. So I don't think that I'm going to get, you know, huge endorsements publicly about what I'm doing, but behind the
Yeah.
scenes and the phone calls that I've gotten and the text message that I've gotten, I actually have you know, a very important producer that called me today. I was just on the phone with him a couple hours ago, and he was like, right on, like, this is so cool. This is so out of the box. This is so, brave, bold, all of the adjectives that I love associated with my name at all. And so, yeah, a lot of people have reached out to me personally and just said, this is effing cool. Like I wish I had the guts, and here's the thing with OnlyFans is that it really can be whatever you want it to
Right.
be. So it's not like it has to be pornographic. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be if you don't want it to
Mhm.
be. But I think that it just is synonymous, is that the word, with that. And there definitely is that as well. I mean, I started following a girl, I did some research. Her name is Bentley, and she's like the number one creator on there. And so I wanted to see what, because I was trying to figure it out and learn and this and that. And I went to her page and it's full on porn, like like boom, right there. And I was like, oh, well, that's her thing. Cool. Not my thing. But I think that for the most part, a lot of people associate it with that and they think that that's all that it is. But it's a way for me to connect with people and hear their stories, hear their fantasies. We all have them, and have fun with it and just not be afraid of it. And that's where the share comments come into play with me. And I do feel like I'm in my bad era. Even though I've always been in your face, I've always been, my performances have always been sexy and naughty, if you will. My videos waiting for the big one. I mean, come on, the title itself. If you and I don't know that everybody realizes this, but that video, and you'll go back now and watch, but that video, that stage is a bed. Did that go over everybody's head? Kallner, Marty Kallner, who just passed away last week on the 17th of March. Dear, dear Marty Kallner, who, like, this man, not only did he change my life because of the videos that he did, Marty was famous for well, he was famous for so many things, but one of his things in the 80s was that he was famous for making women beautiful. Tawny Katane,
Yeah.
Jaguar, um, Lita Ford, et cetera, et cetera. And so, he gave that to me. He brought that out in me, and we had a major connection, and it allowed me to feel free and sexy. In one of the videos, is it Fallen? I think it's Fallen. I know it might be waiting for the big one. My top actually falls down. It's my bustier, and it's tight, and my boobs are just big, and it's not fitting that great. But I'm rocking and rolling, doing my thing, and at one point, it just popped, like everything popped out of the top. And I just covered up my boobs and I kept on singing. And they didn't show the boobs, but Marty left me covering up and singing. And so, he just had that knack for bringing out that in me and other women that he's worked with. But not only did Marty change my life because of my videos, but Marty is who I went to. Ooh, I'm getting emotional. Marty is who I went to when I had the idea for Ex-Wives of Rock, my reality show that I co-created with Lisa Brucker.
Yeah.
We had the idea, we had been doing interviews, et cetera, et cetera. And one day we were sitting around brainstorming, like, who are we going to take this idea to? And so I started looking through my phone, who do we know in the business? And Marty Kallner. And so I reached out to Marty that day. We had a meeting. He loved the idea. He wanted to call it Cuckoo Birds. And but I mean, Marty believed in me always. And so because of that belief, that got Ex-Wives of Rock off the ground. We filmed with him. We did a sizzle reel with him. We had meetings with him, and he is very, 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 like, the number one instrumental person that got that off the ground because of his belief in me and because he started producing it. That sizzle reel, we shopped around. It didn't get picked up. And then, Marty said, look, I'm not going to stand in your way. Do your thing. Take it, run with it, do what you want. He said, but I believe in the project. We got it to only so far. And then he stepped away. And then that's when we revamped a few things with the sizzle reel. And that's when we sold it to Slice. But without Marty, that wouldn't have happened. Clearly. So and Marty did Cher's videos, right? He did If I Could Turn Back Time. So Marty's a very, very important person in my life. And then just going back to Cher, just living life to the fullest. And she wishes that she would have been badder. And when I heard her say that on camera, I was like, yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Like, a lot of people, and I said this in the interview that I recently did with Seth. I think that they ran it with Brave Worlds. A lot of people, it's like the attitude in general sometimes is, once you hit 40, 50, like, you're supposed to die or something. Like, right? It's like you're over. You're not sexy anymore. You're not fun anymore. And I have news for you. I'm hella sexy, and I know it. And part of that comes from me, loving my life and being free and open and an open book. But also, as time goes on, you get more confident with your sexuality. And especially as women, I think you just get freer. And so I just feel like I'm in the prime of my life. So to be 66 years old on OnlyFans, it just makes sense to me. And as I've said in some of the other interviews, later, much later, in let's say 50 years now, because I did the math and it all didn't match up. But let's say in 50 years and I'm in the old folks' home, I'm going to have some damn stories to tell, and it's going
Yes,
to be
you will.
fun. And so I feel like, honestly, and this is the first time I'm saying this, I feel like from here on out, I am living my life for those stories to tell. That's that's how I feel.
Best way
So,
to do it. And you are always welcome to come on here and tell them. That's for sure.
so yeah, to answer your question, the support has been great. But not everybody thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
And not everybody, there's a lot of negativity out there. I stay away from it because I don't really, need to hear about oldness
Yeah.
because I don't feel old. I just feel me, whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, and we are so glad to have you on. We've been spending some time here with Lorraine Lewis. Look for her new music throughout the year. Hopefully, we could check you out live sometime soon, and don't miss her OnlyFans. Thank you so much, Lorraine.
And for everybody thinks I'm like partier girl all the time, I'm drinking green juice. Like there's no vodka or alcohol in here. It's just green juice. So
That works. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
thank you so much. I'm actually getting ready to jump into an interview with the show that I'm casting for Netflix, and they just announced it today. It's called The Red Balloon, I think.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I just got a text message about it, and so I get to talk about it. Viral dating show Pop the Balloon is coming live to Netflix. So you heard it here first.
Right here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.